Now, coming back to the issue, maybe you didn't hear what I said. The Quran must have a mind independent from your God if the Quran is going to argue with your God and the individual chapters. Here, Sahih Muslim, book 4, number 1757. Abu Umama said he heard Allah's messenger say, recite the Quran, for on the day of resurrection, it will come as an intercessor for those who recite it. How does the speech of Allah intercede with Allah if it's a speech of Allah? Is Allah speaking to himself in a different mode? Then you are a modalist. So your tawheed is modalism. But then it gets worse for you. Recite the two bright ones, Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran, chapters 2 and 3. For on the day of resurrection, they will come as two clouds or two shades or two flocks of birds in ranks, pleading for those who recite them. Pleading with who? With themselves? If the surahs of the Quran can appear independently, separately, and appear in visible form, and argue with Allah, that's either your God being schizophrenic, arguing with himself in different modes, so you're a modalist, or you have now separate gods arguing with one another, so you're a polytheist, or you have to believe that Tawheed encompasses a plurality of distinct entities who can then interact and argue with one another.
Before we do that, let's just give like the proper response that should have been given, right? If I just stop this. Okay, so I made some tweets, right, on Twitter clarifying the proper position on this, right? It's pretty simple. And Ahmed refuting the Ahmed view on them trying to make arguments about the Quran being created, right? So we said to them, the Quran will not come except with the meaning which verily was narrated. Whoever recites the surah, Qul huwallahu ahad, then he will have such and such reward. Do you not see that the one who recites Qul huwallahu ahad, then nothing will come to him except the reward of reciting it? Because we recite, as I just confirm, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We recite the Quran and it is the reward for it. That says, O Lord, because the speech of Allah does not come, nor does it change from one form into another, i.e. into a young man mentioned in the hadith. Verily, the meaning of that the Quran will come is verily that the reward of reciting the Quran will come. Very simple explanation. Sam would probably be using. Another thing to bring up to like further re-emphasize this point of view of the rewards will intercede for you, not really like a literal type of Quran or. So it says Abdullah bin Amir reported the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, fasting and the Quran will intercede for the servant on the day of resurrection. Fasting will say, O Lord, I prevented him from food and desires during the day, so let me intercede for him. The Quran will say, O Lord, I prevented him from sleeping during the night, so let me intercede for him. These are the actions or the rewards or good deeds that someone attains from reciting the Quran, from fasting, that this will be expressed, right? Our explanations of these hadiths or these concepts, it's not ad hoc, unlike the explanations of the Trinity or the Incarnation, right? Because Jay Dyer is going to bring this up later on, how, you don't give us the same type of leeway of, well, we have this apparent problem and we explain it away. Well, the issue is that if there's an apparent issue that someone's trying to bring up from the text, at least our point of view is found and grounded within the earliest traditions. With the Christians, you guys can see like a development in how you explain certain things as your theology develops. So it's not the same.